The views and opinions expressed on this program do not reflect the company, owners, management, staff, clients, or partners.
Welcome to Bermuda's Daily Talk Show. It's the Daily Hour.
ChatGPT did become the world's most downloaded non-gaming app.
Literally the job of everyone in government to address the media and the public.
What are your thoughts, audience? What are your thoughts on Zandy Silva as the deputy PLP leader?
A community that can't feed itself is a community that...
What you may not know, though, is that Bermuda, we have a connection with Epstein, too.
Things that people are doing right, the youth are doing right, that is not being advertised enough.
When you see your access to U.S. dollars disappear, that's when you have a problem.
You've got a town in the UK with a similar sized population. This place absolutely outshines it.
All righty, it's a Wednesday, the first day of July 2026. Welcome to Bermuda's Daily Talk Show. This is the Daily Hour brought to you by the BAC Group of Companies, HSBC Bermuda, Medical House Lenders, People's Pharmacy, and big love to Hot 107.5 for ensuring that we can pump through the radio airwaves with these most important community conversations. I'm Jamal Hartman. How's everyone feeling today? It is the middle of the traditional work week, better known as Hump Day to so many of you. Hey. We've gotten through the first 6 months of the calendar year. How are you all feeling about the first 6 months of the year? Are you, I know a lot of people do the resolution thing and they come in and high hopes like this is my year and so on. How are you feeling about that? You feeling good, positive? Like you feel like your year is going better than you expected? You still got things to do? You got everything done in the first part of the year and now you can relax or go harder in the second part of the year? What are you feeling today, folks? What are you feeling today? And also, like, it's July 1st. I've been respectful for the first 6 months of the year. But it's time, folks. No better way than to begin it the way we're beginning it today. What am I talking about? Well, greetings, everyone, and thanks for making us part of your daily routine. What does every cut match fan need to know? Well, St. George's Cricket Club president Neil Paynter stops by to discuss that among many other things. That's right. No better way than to start July than with the president of the champions-elect. Yeah, oh, the trash talk starts today. Starts today. So, let me tell you the rules for this month. Discrimination against Somerset fans or people who were red this month will be allowed. Discrimination against St. George's people or anyone who prefers only blue will not be tolerated. I'll give you some more rules as we go through the month. July also represents Christmas in July. We're going to be doing some Christmas in July giveaways, so you don't want to miss that. Stay tuned all July to see how we're going to be, well, helping you out. All right. Well, anyway, folks, the Daily Plate today is entertainment. Don't forget to subscribe on our website. Follow us on all of our social media channels to stay up to date with all that we have going on. Help us grow beyond the mic as we do our part to continue to improve our community. All right, folks. Hopefully all St. George's fans in the audience. This morning we've got 9/11 Island Girl says, good morning. Let's cut the fluffy stuff and get this show on the road with that red and blue nonsense. We've got Renee Sherilyn, Somerset, the best in the West, all that nonsense. James Burgess, thank you for coming with, some sense. He says, I'm St. George's blue and blue. That's what I'm talking about. Nicole Walker says, St. George's blue forever. Hurry up and fix your background. The background. Okay, so for those on the radio, I did slip up. I still have a bit of, red looking stuff in my background. I, you know what? That's on me. This is the last day. And I say the last day you'll see any red. Shade of red. This is it. You know what? I might have to change it during the commercial break, but the president comes on. So hold me to that. I'll see if I can change it. Suzanne Ingham says, good morning, Jamal. It's an awesome day to be alive and in the TDH house. The first 6 months have flown by too fast. I'm warning you, will only be giving you blue likes until cut match. Sorry, until after cut match. You get no hearts in red. I'm forever true to blue and blue. We love to hear it. Only, again, no discrimination will be or tolerated against people who only choose to wear blue. But for this month only, you see someone wearing Somerset colors or screaming Somerset, any mention of Somerset ribbons, you are allowed not to open a door for them. You are allowed not to say good morning to them. You are allowed not to acknowledge their existence. But don't let it cost you your job. All right, folks. Seriously, though, we've got a conversation to have. Folks, here's your question of the morning. If you had one question for Jason Hayward and one question for Curtis Dickinson, what would it be? The PLP leadership race is beginning to heat up. Over the last few weeks, both the Minister of Economy and Labor, Jason Hayward, and former Minister of Finance, Curtis Dickinson, have held public events. And by all accounts, attendance has been strong, which is probably very encouraging to most of us. Not long ago, we had a conversation on this show, though, about whether leadership candidates should engage the public during an internal election. While delegates will ultimately decide who becomes the next leader of the Bermuda Progressive Labor Party, both candidates appear to recognize that the wider public still wants to hear from them. The challenge, however, is that not everyone will be able to attend these events that they're having. Some people can't make it. Others simply don't want to. And because this is still an internal party election, many Bermudians won't have the opportunity to engage with the candidates in the way they would during a general election. You know how candidates appear on your doors and you get to ask questions. Now, that doesn't mean people don't ask questions. In fact, I think people have plenty of questions. Both candidates seem to have established reputations, right? Jason Hayward is widely seen as someone who has consistently advocated for workers and labor issues, while Curtis Dickinson is viewed by many as someone with a strong financial and business background who could help strengthen Bermuda's economy. See, leadership is about more than reputation. It's about vision, priorities, and decision-making, right? It's about how you intend to lead Bermuda through difficult challenges over the next several years. Whether your biggest concern is the cost of living, housing, healthcare, education, immigration, the economy, or crime, people want to know where each of these candidates stand and how they intend to move Bermuda forward. One thing I do know is this: both candidates pay attention to what is being said in the community. They hear their conversations, they hear the concerns, and they hear the questions. So this morning, I thought we'd give you, the audience, an opportunity to ask both candidates directly. So if you had one question to ask each of them, what would that question be? Think about that. We're going to take a quick break, come back after this. Stick with us.
People's ACW, located at King Edward VII Memorial Hospital, carries over-the-counter medicines, toys, cards, and even toiletries. Our knowledgeable staff are there whether you're at emergency, visiting family, or a member of BHB staff, to show you our best even when you're feeling your worst. People's ACW, we're here for you.
Alrighty, folks, you see the question. What are your thoughts? Again, both candidates seem to be having these public events and drawing a lot of interest. If you had one question for Jason Hayward and one question for Curtis Dickinson, what would it be? These are the two individuals who have put their names forward to replace David Burt as leader of the Bermuda Progressive Labor Party and in turn become the premier of Bermuda. Here's the poll question. Now, the poll question is, I've had so many conversations with people within the PLP. Yep, delegates, I have. But I've also had a lot of questions with people in the community. And one thing seems to be said that is very consistent. Both candidates don't seem like they like people much, right? And that's not to say they hate people. It's just they're not the Wayne Furberts and Michael Dunkleys and David Burts and even Dr. Browns. They're not the hug and kiss baby kind of people. They're straight business politicians. And honestly, I don't even have a problem with that necessarily. I actually have more of a problem with either of the candidates coming across non-authentic. Like, I haven't really seen much of Jason Hayward's campaign. I don't know if he has one right now externally, but I think Curtis Dickinson is probably one of the most brilliant people in politics right now. The fact that his campaign seems so non-authentic, it doesn't seem like him. Even the event at Glow, it's like putting me, I can't say that because I still go to bars even though I don't drink, but it's like putting me in the water at a raft up. That's not what I do just to get people to like me. This man shouldn't have to come across like he looks uncomfortable to get people to vote for him. Same with Jason Hayward. Jason Hayward comes across as the kind of person in a room full of people, he'd rather be over in the corner by himself. That's just what I get based on the outside, right? I actually would prefer Jason Hayward remaining who he is over Curtis Dickinson appearing to be that person. And I think it's sad. And it's because David Burke created this persona where I'm this outgoing person. I go to carnival. And people are bought into it, right? They bought into it. But Curtis Dickinson shouldn't have to do that. But this is politics, right? And when it comes to politics, it's really about getting the vote. And if that's what's going to get you the vote, then so be it, right? But again, so the poll question reflects that. Which candidate do you think is more approachable? Which candidate do you find more approachable? No, I'll tell you this much. Say what you want about David Burt, Michael Dunkley, Craig Kennener, Paula Cox, Hewitt Brown, just to name the most recent premiers. They were all extremely approachable. Even after becoming leaders, they were still approachable. I'm going to say this loud and clear. I don't think either of these two are approachable. And that's okay as well. But when you want people to vote for you and trust, see, here's the thing with both candidates. Once they become leader of the PLP, there's another job to do. They still have to make sure they lead the party to a next general election victory. So it's not like they can pretend and just get these votes and stuff. They have to keep up the persona. Because if not, the fate of 2012 will meet the PLP at its door. Let's get back to the question. If you had one question for Jason Hayward and one question for Curtis Dickinson, what would it be? What would it be, audience? What would it be? We've got, let's see. Anika de Shields says, not all people, but who can do the best job for all Bermuda? Okay, not people, but who can do the best job for Bermuda? Well, that depends on what it is. I think, look, I don't dislike either candidate. I think I preferred Curtis Dickinson, but I don't have a dog in this fight. So I'm not trying to persuade people. Like, I don't want to persuade people either way. But I don't think that question's cut and dry. Like, which candidate could do the best job for all of Bermuda? Do we think, and this is where we've changed, right? Someone reached out to me yesterday and they said, about the question yesterday about Bermuda's referendum, they said, man, that's something I always loved about Sir John Swan. He was the only one to really take us there. And 74% of Bermudians voted against it. He then resigned. And then they said to me, oh, 90% of people will be against it today. And I said, I blame the PLP for that. PLP came in power 3 years later, and we're further away from what one of their core goals was from then. Right? And if the idea that Curtis Dickinson is who you believe is the best job for all of Bermuda, and then I ask you why, and you say, for the economy, I'm simply going to ask you, the economy for who? What does that look like? No, that also is an insult to Jason Hayward because he's the Minister of Economy and Labor, right? So you're saying, well, I'm not impressed with the economy, nor labor. Let's be very clear here. As I mentioned earlier, they're two completely different candidates. One, is a labor person, advocated for workers' rights. The other has had a great career in the business sector. Right? Polar opposites. The idea that we think, and let's keep it clear, Sir John Swan wasn't a great person or a great politician because he had a career in business. He was that person because he owned businesses. And I think we must not conflate the issue in terms of being a great employee and understanding business and owning businesses and creating opportunities for people. We have to separate the two. So when we say, and I'm picking on Anika's comment because who can do the best job for all of Bermuda is so subjective. And I think for years when Dr. Ewart Brown was premier, we screamed and called on Paula Cox because of the same stuff. And then you all kicked her to the curb. You kicked her to the curb because she wasn't personable. Because she didn't, mind you, Curtis Dickinson has a leg up because he's got this campaign going. That doesn't seem like who he is. But you kicked him to the curb. You kicked her to the curb, sorry. I see very similar things happening right now. Anyway, this is not about me. What question would you ask each of them? I agree with this comment by James Burgess. They have to come out of their shells, right? Politics, it's about the people. You have to engage the people. I'll tell you this. Which one of them, Michael Dunkley was the best at this, Dr. Brown was like this. Everyone's going to be different. But which one of Curtis Dickinson and Jason Hayward is going to give people their number to reach out to them anytime? Which one? I don't think they like people enough. I don't. I'm sorry. I don't. I'm going to sit here and tell you, and I will say it to Mr. Dickinson as well. I don't think either candidate is great for Bermuda. You all have got to remember, I'm the same person who thought that I couldn't vote for Donald Trump or Kamala Harris. I'm that person because you're not going to tell me I need to vote for the lesser of two evils. We don't even know as a country what their plans are. What is Curtis Dickinson and Jason's plans for CARICOM? What is their plans for independence? What is their plan for crime? What is their plan for education, which has been a political football? All we hear is, oh, he'll be great for the economy. Or Jason Hayward's going to be this because he's did minimum wage. Minimum wage benefited who? Who did it benefit? We've got to do more than read headlines. And I don't think we go deep enough as a community when it comes to politics. I don't know how either candidate feels about this stuff. What I do know is that one seems to be banking on their record as a minister currently, and the other seems to be banking on their record as an employee in the business sector. Someone wrote something anonymous. I don't like anonymous comments, but someone wrote something that someone has been saying to me for years, a local CEO. They said, we blame David Burt for everything, and maybe rightfully so. Curtis Dickinson has been a backbencher this entire time. Outside of him resigning due to the Fairmont Southampton deal, name some other times that stood out to you. We talk about integrity. Someone reached out to me and said, Jamal, integrity is not just about who you are and what you do. It's about who you surround yourself with and what they do. So I'm just really tired of us thinking that, like getting the wool put over our eyes, right? And thinking that because something's pretty, it's best for us. And we should have it because it's nice and shiny. I'm sorry, you all got me on a tangent this morning. All right, let's go back to the questions. Question for each. We've got Charles H. Jefferson II. He says, as premier, would you lead the country in developing a bipartisan strategic plan to address the varied but related issues facing Bermuda, knowing that these issues cannot be solved overnight? I like that question, Charles. I do. I absolutely love that question. We've got Sherry Lynn Pringles says, I've never met the two, I believe both individuals. But I met, sorry, I never met two. Never met two, meaning I guess she's referring to Jason Hayward as two. But I met Curtis Dickinson at the fruit section at my neighborhood, the produce section, at my neighborhood grocery store, and I introduced myself, and he was very personable. He seems to be a tad shy initially. Okay. Charles H. Jefferson II's question was one of the PLP's core goals. Has the PLP constitution been changed? It's talking about independence. Ms. Ellen K. Norton said, had you listened to Curtis Dickinson last night, you would have heard some of his plans. I shouldn't have to go to a constituency meeting to hear his plans. That's the point, Ms. Horton. I can literally go to a Jason Hayward meeting and hear his plans. I think that's the overall point that we're missing. See, this is where I differ from most of everyone in the audience and most people. I don't like politicians. I love people. So you're not going to get me in. This is why I'm not a registered Democrat. I'm not a registered Republican. I'm no longer a PLP member because I love people. People first. And if we were honest, Charles H. Jefferson, I'm going to call you out right now. If we were honest, if you really cared about who leads Bermuda, you wouldn't attend a Curtis Dickinson function. You wouldn't attend a Jason Hayward function. You would attend both of their functions. Why? Because you're not allowing your bias to dictate how you want the country to go and be. But we have these biases so early on that we only go to the one that we support and we love what they say. We're going to support what they say, even if it doesn't meet our threshold. I have absolutely no interest in siding with either of them. Not because I dislike them, not because I hate them, but because I believe that we deserve more. And I know there's people who keep saying, Jamal, no, Bermudians don't deserve more. We deserve what we get. We deserve what we get. I'm tired of having people try to fool me with politics. I don't like politicians. I love people. And we have got to stop thinking that because it's a pretty shiny toy, it looks a certain way. Right? There's a situation in the NBA right now, right? There's a player named Jaylen Brown. He's a MVP for the Boston Celtics, won the finals MVP. It's about my complexion. He's from Atlanta, Marietta, Georgia. And he's become like the most hated player by the media. And when you start to uncover layers, you start to figure out some things. Why? During the draft, he was drafted in 2016, I believe. He was drafted 3rd overall by the Celtics. And leading up to the draft, teams were concerned about drafting Jaylen Brown for the most unbelievable reason. They were concerned about drafting Jaylen Brown because of his intellect. They thought he was too intelligent, but they also said because he doesn't conform. Find me a leader who isn't going to conform to the norms of today, and maybe I'll jump on board. But I'm not giving anyone a chance. For me, I'm not voting for that person. I've been very public about how I vote. Show me that you are going to challenge the norms of society that have created the problems that exist with us today, and then we can have a conversation. But if you're telling me that the person who represents the system best, who can help us succeed, that's not for me. It will never be for me. And that's why we end up in the same place over and over and over, because we believe the pretty shiny toy is always going to be what's best within the system that we have. Anyway, you all got me on a rant this morning. We've got Sherilyn Pringle says, Curtis' personality reminds me of Paula Cox, somewhat shy, but would definitely get the job done. That's why I compare him to Paula Cox. And look what you all did to Paula Cox. Now, I have a lot of love for Miss Cox. I usually send her an email, see how she's doing, at least once or twice a year. But look what was done to Paula Cox. The exact same. I guarantee you, when he becomes, because I believe he will be the next leader, we're going to be having a different conversation next year. Not because it's going to do bad things. It's going to do the right things, in my opinion. Probably. For the economics. He's going to do what Bob Richards would do. You all dislike Bob Richards. He's going to do the same stuff. We're going to be having a very different conversation. Because again, to that point, y'all are going to treat him just like you did Paula Cox. You're going to pray for him, hope for him, vote for him. And then when he does what needs to be done, you wait for it. I tell you. Suzanne Ingham says, oh, Jamal, you're on fire today. I hate politics 100%. I do think Dickinson is the better choice because he's business-minded and doesn't seem to waste taxpayers' money from what I can see. But he allowed David Burt to do it. See, that's my point. It's like walking away. This analogy may be extreme, but I'm saying we got a president to bring on. We got to a cop match. We got to get in mud, right? But I have to say this. It's like I'm in a car with a bunch of people, and we're heading to commit a crime. And before that crime's committed, I say, let me out. You know, boys in the hood. And I get out. I sit back. I'm still part of the crew. After they go do what they have to do, I'm at the house drinking with them and chilling with them. You all will not like me saying that, but that's how I see people who resign but stay as members of parliament under that same leadership. It's the same thing. And you're going to say, oh, no, it's not a stretch. It's only a stretch to those who are comfortable with what we have. Look, I ain't got nothing to lose in this situation. I'm just here to be honest with you all. I'm not going to cry like I did some years ago about Dave Burt. I'm over that. I can only speak so much. The same way I'm talking to you, people talk to me. But if you want to be the fool, and I'm not calling you fools, if you want to be the fool to keep falling for the same thing over and over and over, that's on you. But the smooth talking, good looking, whatever, I'm through with it. I won't endorse it. And as long as you listen, I will engage you in a manner where you can do one thing or not. Wake the hell up. All right, let's go through a few more comments. Renee Charlin says, I believe CD knows his people, knowing his mom who raised him as she certainly was a people person. However, he is far more refined. It's not like he isn't a people person. He only has a refined persona. My daddy goes church. I don't go church. I have no interest in attending church. What my father represents or represented has nothing to do with me. So while I respect what you're saying, that's not who he is. That's not who he is. All right, folks. Let's go through this. Charles says, and this is what people loved about Sir John. He was a people first politician. He would meet with anyone regardless of political affiliation and help them if he could. We need a similar leader today. We do. We do. We absolutely do. Ms. Horton says, Jamal Hartman, you're getting buttoned out of shape about something you have no control over unless you're a member of the... I'm not getting bent out of shape. I'm having a conversation to wake people up. That's the most I can do. This is on all of you. I have no interest in being a member of the PLP anymore. I have no interest. What I do have an interest in is communicating and educating people based on what I know. And if you think it's best that I shut up and be quiet and don't say this, so be it. But as long as I have this mic and this voice and these vocal cords to express myself, I'm going to express to people that we've been down this road before and we need to avoid the same thing. We have biases in this, right? I don't. I want what's best for Bermuda. I don't want what's best for the PLP. I don't want what's best for Jason Hayward. I don't want what's best for Curtis Dickinson. I don't want what's best for Miss Horton or Charles. I want what's best for Bermuda. And if we want what's best for Bermuda, we can't allow our like or dislike for people to be our guide. That's my point this morning. We get in these biases because we like or dislike people, right? And we run with that. I'm different. I'm not voting for the lesser of two evils. I'm not. But we have become a comfortable society, and that's what we love. That's what we allow. That's what we like. Folks, this is your daily discussion brought to you by Titan Express and Secure. The poll, we believe Dickinson is more approachable. Fair enough. Fair enough. Sir John wouldn't dismiss good ideas if they didn't come from him and or his party. Indeed. I think we need intervention in Bermuda politics. We need intervention in Bermuda politics. And I think it has less to do with the politicians and more to do with the people who put them there. Like David Berto or not, he is there because Bermudians allowed him to be there. We have to take accountability for that. You will not get me here this morning or any other morning vouching for a candidate because they're the new shiny toy. We've been down this road. Don't tell me that I should have attended this or attended that. If you're going to have meetings outside of your PLP members, then tell people your plans. Tell the general public your plans. Show some love to Titan Express and Secure. We've got a president, the president of the champions-elect, should I say, coming up. The daily discussion is brought to you by Titan Express and Secure. Titan Express delivers safe, professional, and reliable transportation and tours across the island. From island tours to cultural expressions, they set their standard. And Secure is your go-to for property management, waste management, and residential and commercial services. Visit securebda.com. Professional, punctual, and reliable service is their commitment to you. Hey, I forgot. Today is Wednesday, so Teo has something he thinks we should know. All right? Let's see what he's saying this morning.
Good morning, I'm Teo Dill, and welcome to today's episode of Something You Need to Know on TDH. Now, if I asked you where the next great frontier of exploration is, you might say Mars, the moon, or perhaps the deepest parts of space. But one of the biggest scientific stories of the past year suggests we should be looking in the opposite direction, that is, down rather than up. In just 2 weeks, 14 days, an international team of marine scientists exploring a small section of the South Atlantic discovered 31 species completely new to science. Think about that for a sec. 31 animals and organisms that no human being had ever documented before, all found in just a couple weeks. Among them were 9 new jellyfish, 7 comb jellies, 7 siphonophores, strange colonial creatures that can grow longer than a blue whale, along with giant single-cell organisms so unusual that until recently scientists would probably have mistaken them for sponges or coral. And maybe the most astonishing fact of all, some of these organisms are made up of just one single cell. Yet, they can grow to nearly 8 inches across and even create tiny underwater habitats for other marine life. So how is it possible that we're still discovering so many new species in 2026? The answer is surprisingly simple. We've barely looked. Scientists estimate that the deep ocean and the ocean's midwater zone make up roughly 90% of Earth's entire living space. Yet, only a tiny tiny fraction has ever been explored with modern technology. New underwater cameras, DNA sequencing tools, and high-resolution imaging systems are allowing researchers to identify animals that previous generations simply couldn't detect. Now, here's where this becomes especially interesting for us here in Bermuda. Our island sits in the middle of the Atlantic, surrounded by some of the deepest water anywhere in the North Atlantic. Just a relatively short distance offshore, the seafloor drops thousands of meters into the deep ocean, the same vast, poorly understood environment where these discoveries were made. This doesn't mean that these exact species are living off Bermuda, right? But it does mean something equally exciting. Marine scientists believe there's every reason to expect that the deep waters around Bermuda still contain species that have never been formally described. In fact, many experts would probably be more surprised if we had already found everything than if we hadn't. It's a remarkable thought, right? We spend billions of dollars searching for life on other planets, while some of the most extraordinary creatures on Earth are just quietly drifting through the dark Atlantic waters surrounding our own island just thousands of feet below us. For Bermuda, that's more than just an interesting science story. It's a reminder that one of the world's last great frontiers isn't thousands of miles away. In many ways, it's right on our doorstep, waiting for somebody to take a closer look. And thanks for listening to this week's episode of Something You Need to Know here on TDH. I'm Teo Dill. Back to the show.
I already was not going into the ocean this summer, but Teo, I mean, thank you, brother. Thank you for confirming why I should just stay on land. All right, folks, days of the year, real quickly. It's International Reggae Day. Yes, July 1st represents International Reggae Day. So we're going to make it very fast. Who is your favorite reggae artist and favorite reggae song? Let us know. I'm just going to say Barris Hammond. Barris Hammond is my favorite reggae artist as of today. That could change, but I would say Barris Hammond. And one of his songs that I've literally been singing over and over, probably for the last 2 weeks, is No Disturb Sign. I have been all into my World Cup. I haven't watched any news since the World Cup started. My phone, anyone hit me up like, look, don't disrespect the No Disturb sign. So Barris Hammond has to, I knew everyone was going to say Bob Marley. That's why I didn't say it. But 9/11 Island Girl says Bob Marley, War. Dorian says Bob Marley. We've got Jimmy Cliff says Zanny Havoc. We've got Peter Tosh, James Burgess. We've got Egyptian Hold You, says WKD Llama. Who else, folks? Who's your favorite reggae artist? Keep them coming. We're going to take a quick break. After this break, we've got the president of, well, by the end of this month, they will be the champions, St. George's Cricket Club. Neil Paynter's coming up after this, folks. You don't want to miss this. Stick with us.
Guess what? Bermuda's most popular game is back. That's right, Shoe Buy is back in stores. But wait, there's more. The brand new Shoe Buy Summer Edition is here too. Bring the laughs, the vibes, the friendly chaos to your barbecues and summer get-togethers with Bermuda's favorite game. Don't miss your chance to get yours. Visit BermudaTrivia.com and follow Bermuda Trivia on social media to learn more.
One lucky bucks in the summer edition has a golden ticket with the chance to win a grand prize courtesy of One Communications.
Hi there, welcome to Medical House. We're located at number 6 Bakery Lane. I can't wait to show you all of the great stuff that we carry. Come on inside, let's see. Long days, long shifts, you no longer have to endure comfortable underwear. Designed by nurses, we now offer premium undergarments by Swoop that are unique, fun, comfortable, and functional. The only underwear you'll ever want to wear. Who says high-quality functional products can't be stylish and comfortable at the same time?
See it all at our new expanded location on Bakery Lane.
Discover Drop It, your go-to grocery delivery. Browse and select from a wide range of groceries, from fresh produce to daily essentials. Our friendly drivers deliver fresh groceries to your door fast, saving you time and hassle. With Drop It, you get fresh groceries delivered fast, so you can focus on what really matters. Drop It. Freshness at your doorstep. Delivered to your door with Lindo's. Why go anyplace else?
Class of 2026. What's your next chapter? University overseas? Bermuda College? Or your first job? HSBC Bermuda can help you start strong.
Now that's what I'm talking about.
Open an HSBC Bermuda bank account and receive a $100 gift card from a local retailer or Amazon.com. And every successful referral receives a $50 reward. Hurry! This limited time offer ends July 31st. Apply online at hsbc.bm/nextchapter, and within 2 business days, an HSBC team member will guide you through the final steps. Terms and conditions apply. HSBC is licensed to conduct banking and investment business by the Bermuda Monetary Authority.
Ever taken medication and thought, why is this hitting me so hard? Or why isn't this doing anything at all? Here's something you may not know. Your body processes medication the same way it needs to process food, using enzymes. And these enzymes metabolize medication so it can be converted into its useful form or removed from your body. Pharmacogenetics looks at how your DNA influences the way your body metabolizes or breaks down medications. It helps explain why a drug that works well for one person causes side effects in another and barely works at all for someone else. That means the same pill at the same dose can feel very different from one person to the next. It's not about blame, it's not about doing something wrong, it's simply biology. And once you know what works best for you, medication decisions stop being guesswork and start becoming personalized.
In one sentence, boy, I would say it definitely feels like a labor of love for everyone to benefit.
Going through this book, I would say my favorite quote is, "One of the most humbling things in life is knowing that I'm replaceable."
It's an easy read, but after it was done, I was wanting for more. So
I think this book will make a fantastic gift for people that like self-help type of books.
Highly recommend, personally and professionally, because the amount of quotes in here is a beautiful perspective.
People that just want a little extra positive affirmation every day.
3 words I would describe this book. I would say it's inspirational,
intentional,
motivational,
thoughtful,
aspirational.
Let's say the next one is hyphenated, must have.
Alrighty, folks, welcome back to Big Show. You know, we had to do an extended commercial break because I had to change the color of the bub. So going is the red. I try to do blue and blue, so it's blue and purple for those who are not tuned, who are streaming with us and can see me. It's blue and purple. That's the closest I could get to blue. Like, all right, so like, is purple more blue or red? Like, help me out. Like, it's not red. The red, like, seriously, red's here. Like, it's gone. It's gone. So I'm trying. If not, y'all can just purchase me another blue bub and we'll go from there. Anyway, folks, we've got a very special conversation coming up. Welcome back. Jamel Hartman here. It's the Daily Hour brought to you by the BAC Group of Companies, HSBC, Bermuda Lenders, People's Pharmacy, and big love to Hot 107.5 for ensuring that we can pump through the radio areas with these most important community conversations. Folks, do not forget to subscribe on our website. Follow us on all of our social media channels to stay up to date with all that we have going on. Help us go beyond the mic as we do our part to continue to improve our community. All right. I did ask you, it's Reggae Day. It's International Reggae Day. Actually, some of your favorite artists and songs. We've got Barris Hammond, says Sherilyn Pringle. We've got Headleen Stevenson Swan, says Bounty Killer and Barris. We've got Buju Nuko Walker. Chronics, says Stacey and Brown. And we've got Karen Edwards, says Barris Hammond. Let's bring in a very special guest for the day. We've got the president. Hold on. Let me make sure I got the right music. Hold on, we've got some air horn. Yep. Can you hear the air horn? We got to play the right stuff so that we give our president, the president of the champions as of July 31st, let's give a warm welcome. Get your air horns, your hands together for President, St. George's President, Neil Paynter. Sir, how are you?
I'm very good today, Jamal. I'm very good today.
We're glad to hear it. I got to ask you, before we jump into anything, it's International Reggae Day. Who's your artist?
Robert Nesta.
Okay, it has to be. Favorite song by him?
Favorite song? Three Little Birds.
Okay, Three Little Birds, the most common song of them all, most common of them all. Now, Mr. President, does my background now pass the test for St. George's?
Yes, you have changed for the better.
Okay, thank you, sir. I want to make sure. Now, folks, let me just be clear. I do not schedule the guests for the show. So we do have the other president coming on tomorrow. So, this whole equality, equity thing, we do have the other president for the other team. But today we're going to focus on our president, the champions elect. And first off, welcome back to the position, because you've only been back in the position just under a year, right?
6 months.
6 months, yeah. So let's start there. What motivated you to step back into the role of president? And what is your vision for the club going forward now that you're back?
If I knew the answer to that, I probably wouldn't be here. But there was no real motivation. We had a situation where our past president stepped down prior to finishing off his term. And there were some questions asked who was going to run. And, I had no intention on coming back into this fold, but I was asked. And looking at the committee that we had, I felt that for this time, I should step into that position. And I don't plan on being here another 22 years, but I just did it so that, we can have some continuity.
Mm. Let's speak about cup match last year, right? Last year, the game generated plenty of discussion and controversy. Let's get this out of the way now. There were issues on the field. People had a lot to say. I said some things as well. Looking back, what were some of the biggest lessons? Again, you were not president then. Let me just make sure people understand that. You weren't president then, but you are president now. And when you look back at what took place at St. George's Cricket Club, what were some of the biggest lessons that you believe were learned? And how have they influenced how you and the club are moving forward this year?
Well, I must say, every year we're learning how to improve this event and how to improve the game itself. There were some incidents that happened that visually were unfortunate. But what we've done this year between Somerset and St. George's, we've had our first cup match meeting. We usually have 3 joint meetings every year prior to the event. So we've discussed those issues, and we're looking forward to putting things in place that can rectify that and hopefully minimize those events happening.
Mm. And audience, if you have any questions or comments for St. George's President Neil Paynter, you can send your questions and comments through, because a lot of you had a lot to say after last year as well. But also, you may have questions about, why return now, right? But we have to discuss, President. Over the years, cup matches really become more than just a cricket game, with first day being renamed Mary Prince Day, or the second day, sorry, being renamed Mary Prince Day. More people trying to educate people about the history and the friendly societies. But it remains one of Bermuda's most cherished cultural traditions. What does the event mean to you personally, and why is it so important to preserve its legacy?
Well, for me personally, I grew up being a part of cup match. As a young boy living in St. George's, obviously I went to cup match every year that I was able to. So it wasn't until I actually became an adult, just before I became president, really understood the real significance of it. Actually was under Red De Silva, who really emphasized what cup match was about. Because as a young boy, all I knew was 2 days of cricket. You had a good time, you went and had fun, and that's what you did. But as I got older and got more involved in it, I really got to know the true significance of what cup match is about. And it's important that we as Bermudians continue that legacy on for future generations to ensure that not just the game, but the event and the whole aura of cup match continues.
Indeed, indeed. I'll get to the questions and comments in a few. You can keep them coming. Now, for those who, I'm that guy who really sits down and watches the actual game. And a lot of people don't do that. Some people come for the fun, the crown and anchor, just go camps and so on. But I watched the actual game. And last year, those who weren't just focused on the controversy, it was actually one of the best years of cricket St. George's produced. Elroy Rollins, 199, and unfortunately got billed. Luke Horan had a mature showing for such a young person. St. George's actually performed very well, especially in the first innings. What can supporters expect from St. George's in 2026 as far as how they go about selection and choosing how to basically win the title back for the first time since 2011?
Yeah, I think your analysis of the game is totally correct. I think St. George's came to play. I think rain had a lot to do with maybe not getting a result. But as far as moving to the future, I think one of the mistakes that we have made at St. George's, and I've repeatedly said this probably since 2012 when we lost, is the chopping and changing of our team. And we never really got a nucleus together. I think what we have finally gotten, I think of the last 3 years, we finally got a nucleus of players who have been playing together. And I don't think there are going to be many changes in this team. Obviously, I'm contrary to public belief. The president has no say in who gets selected in this team. But I truly believe that we have a team that is for the future. And if we do make any changes, it may be 1 or 2, because I don't see many changes in this team, to be honest with you.
Who impressed you most last year, if you can say, like, what stood out to you the most?
I think the youngsters that we had in the squad, obviously with Delray being one of our senior players, and our captain Sinclair Smith, who led our club. You know, I think what we bought last year was a total team effort. From batsman to bowling to fielding, the fight that they had. Obviously, sometimes people may say we went overboard in our fight, but the battle was good, and it was great to see St. George's put up a great fight.
Indeed. The rivalry between St. George and Somerset is legendary, right? But Cup Match also has a unique way of bringing Bermudians together. Like you've heard me joking about, red and blue. What do you hope the event this year will represent for the island as a whole?
I would hope what the event would bring to the islands, what it usually does every year, but even on a larger scale, is bringing a people of coming ills coming together, Bermudians, whether they be for Somerset or St. George's, coming together for what is uniquely Bermudian, a 2-day holiday to celebrate emancipation and Mary Prince. Nowhere else in the world does it. I mean, we may come for the cricket, but I think most of us, to be honest, if you come for the event, come for the camaraderie, come for the socializing, come to show the world that we as Bermudians can come together for 2 days, put our differences aside, and come together for one common goal, that is to celebrate the emancipation of slaves and a national hero in Mary Prince.
Indeed. Let's go to the audience. We've got Charles H. Jefferson II. He says, President Paynter, are you in the board succession plan, and has the next president been identified?
We did have a succession plan before. Right now, what I can tell you I'm doing right now is that I'm trying to get most of my committee to be more progressive and want to step up to the plate and become president. Because like I told them, it is not in my intent to be here for a very long time. To be honest with you, I really don't want to be here now, but this is my club. This is my community. I've been asked and I stepped up to the plate. But yes, to answer your question, we are putting a succession plan in place, which I hope that people are willing to be a part of.
We have, been present, my team and I, for Cup Match selection night throughout the last 4 years, doing it again this year. Speak to people about selection night. You mentioned that you have no say as president. Like, how many selectors are there? Who are the selectors? How does that work?
There are 5 selectors, which usually consist of the captain, the coach, and then you have a chairman, and then we have 3 other individuals in there that are picked by the management committee. So there are 5 selectors, and they deliberate and come to a consensus who they feel should be the best 11, and the reserves who should represent either club. So yeah, there are 5 selectors, and they deliberate on what they feel is for the best of each club.
All right. We have Zani Havik asking, how do you balance honoring the prestige and tradition of the Cup Match holiday with the increasing commercialization of it?
That's an excellent question. And that is a question that we've been trying to answer. We do our very best to answer every year. It is important that both clubs ensure that the tradition of Cup Match remains alive. The unfortunate side of it, yes, we do need some commercializing when it comes to raising funds and running the event. But we have to really balance how we ensure that the integrity, the heritage, and the culture of Cup Match remains alive. So it's a delicate balance that we every year have to battle with. So that's a very excellent question.
All right. We've got Charles H. Jefferson II asking, why does St. George's have their club team captain serve as their Cup Match captain?
To answer this question, first, we're not the first club to do it. Both clubs have had team captains captain theirs. Our constitution states that our team captain can come from our league side, but doesn't necessarily have to. So what we do, and I'm sure some should do the same thing, they look at their whole team or the players that they have to choose from and choose who they feel that who would be the best person to serve or lead that team. So that's basically how it is.
All righty. We've got Nicole Walker says, good morning, El Presidente. What is the selection criteria? Is fitness and sportsmanship considered?
I think, yes, I think there are those are part of the selection process. Coaches will go, selectors will look at obviously fitness, obviously what they've been doing over the course of the year, and et cetera. There are many criteria that they look at in selecting players to represent either club.
All right. Speak to the people. What message would you like to share, particularly with St. George's supporters, as preparations continue for this year's Cup Match Classic?
What I would say, good. You finished? Sorry. Yeah, what I would say is a message that I've always said is that irregardless of which team is selected, we as fans cannot choose the team. Whatever team comes over, we should support it. And all I ask is that you support your team, you support the event, you come to the match to have a great time, show respect, and let's just come together as Bermudians, because at the end of the day, there is a cricket game that is being played. But their cricket game is just a part, and it's a small microcosm of what the event is truly about. We need to understand that Cup Match is about unity, is about a celebration of our enslaved past family members. So we just need to come together and just ensure that we have a great time and respect the legacy of Cup Match.
Before you head out, can you confirm a couple of things, that Clay Smith and Sinclair Smith remain as coach and captain, and also when do Cup Match trials begin and training?
Yes, Clay is our coach. He's our lead coach as well as our Cup Match coach. And also when it comes to Cup Match, he also brings in other coaches as well. Sinclair Smith, yes, is our captain, so he will be leading, and they will be starting their Cup Match training this week, actually today. They'll be doing every week up until the final classic itself.
All right. A couple more questions. I know we can't keep you all day, so press. Charles H. Jefferson II says, how can Cup Match history be preserved for future generations? I would love to see a Cup Match Hall of Fame with inductees inducted annually at a Joints Awards celebration.
That's an excellent question. That was something that we talked about, I want to say maybe about 7 years ago, in reference to, we do recognize past players, but I think what Jeff is talking about is something where we can immortalize them into an induction. So that's something that is being discussed. So thank you for that, and we will continue to have those conversations.
All righty. We've got another really disrespectful question, if I may say myself. 9/11 Island Girls, because I've always known Neil to be a really nice guy personally. I'd expect the truth from him when I ask who he predicts will have the cup in the end.
They shouldn't even have to ask that question. They know the answer to that. St. George's.
But let's be real. How confident are you in St. George's ability, especially after last year? Because again, a lot of people forget. But how confident are you in St. George's? Still a young team, but they've grown a year. They've had international experience. How confident are you that they can challenge to the point where they can possibly be victorious this year?
Yeah, and yes, on a serious note, every year I'll come and say St. George's will win. But over the last 3 years, I think that we've made progress. When I say progress, and that's progress on the field, also with our selection process. And with the younger players, with the experience, we have quite a few players who have Been playing for Bermuda, representing Bermuda the last few years. So I'm really confident that this game will be a great game. Yes, I'm rooting for St. George, and I do believe that we have an excellent opportunity to wrestle the cup from Somerset. So in all honesty, I believe this year will be a very pivotal year in our growth and in our process.
One last question from the audience. We've got Charles H. Jeffs II. I love this question, Charles. Has the St. George's victory parade route been determined?
That's been determined since we first won the cup. Okay, so that route has never changed. So yes, we do have that route. But the good thing about it now, the roads are paved a little better.
Yeah, there we go. We've got James Burgess says, Neil, it's great to see you back in the hot seat again. And we've got Suzanne says, Captain, be in the cup, bring the cup back home where it rightfully belongs. I just want to say this. Cup match is my favorite holiday. I'll miss it this year. But I think if you've watched St. George over the last 2 years with a objective eye, you will see the development and progress that you speak of. I think St. George's fans should go there hopeful, not saying that they'll necessarily win it, but I don't think it's going to be how it was 5 years and 4 years ago. If you could say something to the players who will be selected publicly right now, what would you say to the players that have a chance to represent St. George's, even players who've never played before? What would you say to them today?
I would say, that's a very good question. Understand the true meaning of cup match and what it represents. And if you truly understand the true meaning of it, then you will respect it and you will revere it and you will be act accordingly and put yourself in the best possible position as a player to be involved in it. And as a fan, you will respect the true traditions of it.
Indeed. Well, I'll say this before you head out. The New York Knicks won their first championship in 53 years. Arsenal won their first Premier League in 22 years. Well, we
May
saw
continue.
You see where I'm going with this, President. Thank you so much. Appreciate you very much. We'll definitely be in touch between now and cup match. We've got your fans out here. Miss Helene Stevenson says,
oh, I love you too, Miss Stevenson. I love you. I love you. I miss their squeezes. I miss them.
Have a wonderful day, sir. Appreciate you. I'll be in touch. Talk soon.
All right. Thank you.
All right. St. George's Cricket Club President Neil Paynter, folks, if you appreciated that discussion, give us a thumbs up, a love, a like. Always love engaging with both presidents. And don't forget, President Richard Scott of Somerset will be on tomorrow. They're the host this year, so a lot to discuss as far as hosting. But good to see Neil back in the position. And I believe, I'm telling you, if you focus on the game, what actually happened, Bermuda may get a cup match classic this year as far as performances on the field. We're going to take our final break. We'll come back. Got a daily play for you, and I'm going to share with you how Christmas in July on the Daily Hour will work, because we actually really want you all to, well, we want to reward you. I'm not going to say we want you to win. We want to reward you. All right? Stick with us.
Children love to play and have fun, and they love gifts even more, especially ones that they can enjoy and learn from. With Bermuda Trivia coloring books, kids can explore the island while they color, learn, and create. The perfect activity for fun and learning together. Available now.
Visit BermudaTrivia.com and follow Bermuda Trivia on your favorite social media platforms to learn more.
Yeah, I don't got this. I'm gonna be fast at delivery on.
Oh, don't pay me enough for that,
Oh, no, sugar! Okay, who's the faster? Who's the faster than me? Talk to me. No more stress, just sit back.
For over 70 years, Bermuda Pest Control has been protecting homes and businesses island-wide. We offer a full suite of services, including rodent control, termite fumigation, and general insect control and maintenance. Our team of experts will quickly and efficiently eliminate any pest problem you may have. With Bermuda Pest Control, you can enjoy a pest-free home in no time. We're committed to providing fast, reliable, and solution-driven services for our customers. It's what we've been doing since 1952. Call Bermuda Pest Control today and say goodbye to pests for good.
Dreaming of expanding your business? With BDC's loan guarantee program, we support your ambitions. Get up to 75% guarantee on bank or credit union loans up to $300,000. Just your vision and our support. Apply today and unlock new business opportunities. BDC, Bermuda Business starts here.
Bermuda, there's nothing like a home-cooked meal, especially when you can feed the whole family without stretching your wallet. With the affordable Bermuda basket, you'll find savings on everyday staples like rice, chicken, corn, and more. Everything you need to make a good meal for less. Shop the Bermuda basket at Lindo's, Marketplace, the Garden Market, and the English Market. Visit costofliving.gov.bm to see the full list of goods and start planning your meals. This is a message from the Ministry of Home Affairs.
Life moves fast, and so can the unexpected. When you insure your home, you need to know that your insurance company has your back. At Friesenbrook, let one of our friendly and professional agents give you that peace of mind. Because when you are covered, you are confident. Call us at 296-3600 or visit friesenbrook.bm to learn more.
Guess what? Bermuda's most popular game is back. That's right, Shoe Buy is back in stores. But wait, there's more. The brand new Shoe Buy Summer Edition is here too. Bring the laughs, the vibes, the friendly chaos to your barbecues and summer get-togethers with Bermuda's favorite game. Don't miss your chance to get yours. Visit BermudaTrivia.com and follow Bermuda Trivia on social media to learn more.
One lucky box in the summer edition has a golden ticket with the chance to win a grand prize courtesy of One Communications.
Alrighty, welcome back to the Big Show. Thanks again to President Neil Paynter for stopping by today. Greatly appreciate it. Awesome conversation, and I really appreciate what he had to say. Thanks again to our partners, the BAC Group of Companies, HSBC, Bermuda Medical House, Linda's, People's Pharmacy, and big shout out to Hot 1075 and love to them for ensuring we can pump through the radio areas with these most important community conversations, folks. If you haven't already, make sure whatever platform you may be streaming on, you give us a love like. Make sure you share the conversation with your friends, your family, your colleagues. It is time for the Daily Play brought to you by Bermuda Trivia, now available at stores throughout Bermuda. Follow Bermuda Trivia on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, X, and TikTok to find out why it's Bermuda's favorite trivia game. All right, are you ready? Are you ready? It is entertainment today. This is actually pretty easy. This is pretty easy because it's a recent, like when I say recent, within the last 10 years. Here we go, folks. Which fictional country is the Black Panther movie set in? Of course, Stacey Ann Brown and WKD Lama, Charles H. Jeffs II, Julie, Senko for Bermuda, or Wakanda. I think James Burgess means Africa, but yeah, it was Africa's not fictional though, but yeah, it was Wakanda. Yeah, it was Wakanda. I'm glad you all got that. I would have been concerned if you didn't. I'm not a moviegoer though. I'm not a moviegoer. Never heard that question. Is she being sarcastic? Renee Sherlin said, I've never heard this question. What fictional country is the Black Panther movie set in? No, she must be talking about something else. All right. Let's wrap it up because we got to let you all go, right? Yes, correct. It's. I did say country, Charles. Africa is not a country, not fictional and not a country. That is important. Put South before it and we would be good. All right, folks, wrap it up. As far as the discussion this morning, look, I make no apologies for how passionate that I get when it comes to politics. I have said it before, I'll say it again. I love people. There are people who are politicians who I have a lot of respect for and I have a lot of love for. I don't like politicians. I don't like people who are politics first. I think that's what we get. What I'm asking people to do is be more responsible and hold themselves accountable. Here's what I'll say. I made a comparison, as someone else did, with Curtis Dickinson and Paula Cox. But I'm going to make another comparison for you. When Mark Bean was the leader of the PLP, you hated the way he spoke, the way he sounded, the way he acted. He was too ghetto for some of you. And you thought David Burt was the right person, had the look, spoke well, had a lot of words for you. You thought he was it until he wasn't. And then you started saying, oh, I miss Mark Bean. And every time Mark decided to speak publicly, you were there and you agreed with him. And he was right. I'm not saying that's going to happen with Curtis Dickinson in terms of following David Burt. What I'm simply saying is ask the right questions of Curtis Dickinson, and he needs to put out the right information to people, not at some little meetings. Do things differently. Yeah, the delegates vote, but communicate publicly to the people. It's good enough saying, oh, I'm speaking about integrity. Integrity, as someone said to me, it's not just about who you are, it's who you surround yourself with. And the same goes for Jason Hayward. You chose politics. You need to engage people. You are not a king where people should have to come to you with concerns. You should be open to and make yourself available so that they can engage you with their concerns. The people who have access to you shouldn't only be those who are close to you or vote for you or have friends and family. When you choose politics, the people deserve access to you. And I'm not telling either of these people, especially Jason Hayward, not to be yourself. But politics requires a certain level of engagement with the people who you represent. So when I say I'm afraid for Bermuda, I actually am. Because we just experienced 8-9 years, in my opinion, of poor leadership from a premier who most of us had so much hope for. He was well dressed compared to Mark Bean. He spoke well compared to Mark Bean. He fit the bill when you all compared him to Mark Bean. You felt more comfortable with him representing the island compared to Mark Bean and being in rooms with certain people than Mark Bean. This is what I'm trying to get you all to understand. We've been down this road before. As a person, I don't think David Burt's a bad guy. I don't. But as a premier, I had concerns throughout his tenure. And my concerns were not personal. They represented the ripple economics he promoted before the 2017 election to now, as we spoke about yesterday, the gap widening between the, well, to quote him, the two Bermudas. And then, as someone said yesterday, ask yourself which Bermuda category he falls in. Do you really trust someone who's in the higher Bermuda to know what to do and represent those who may be in what some will say the lower Bermuda? We all have our favorites. I think many of us lack the courage to walk away and hold people accountable. The courage to fight, stand up. And fight for better. Believe you deserve better. So my hope is that as these two gentlemen vie for the leadership of the Bermuda Progressive Labor Party, your questions will be answered in a public setting, and that they choose to do things differently, although the delegates decide who will ultimately win, but that they show that, yes, the delegates decide who win, but my job, if I win, is to represent all of you. We allow politics to cloud even the clearest conscience. Charles H. Jeffers II says, no premier represents only the people from their party at all times. Goes on to say, I believe that words are just words. Actions always speak louder than words. And Mark Arthur says, fam, do we know what questions to ask? I don't think we do. Charles H. Jeffers II says, when are they coming on the Daily Hour? That's a question for them. That's what we should ask them. Ask them, reach out to them. Because I tell you, it's not going to be fun and games. They're not going to control or dictate conversations if they come on here. They won't receive the questions prior to coming. And you all are going to have the opportunity to ask exactly what you want to know. Only then will we know who's best to represent your needs. As far as the conversation with Neil Paynter, look, props to him for returning to the helm. Being president of a sports club in Bermuda, a local community club, is not for the weak. Props to him, but also, you know, some of the things he said, you know, about understanding and, you know, making sure the players understand and represent what cup match is all about. You know, we had those incidents last year, and I'm sure that there's a lot of conversations going on. Look, you know, this holiday is bigger than cricket, and I appreciate that. You know, he was honest. As a boy, he grew up, all it was about was cricket, cricket, cricket. Now we're in a time where we're creating an opportunity for young people to understand it's so much more than cricket. Props to the government for introducing Mary Prince Day 2021 and creating like companies like Titan Express and organizations like Curb, who are taking the opportunity to educate Bermudians around this sad holiday. I love it and I appreciate it. All right, folks, I got to give you some daily inspiration and head out, right? Let's see. This I'm gonna share this one because I don't want you all to think that I dislike or hate any of the candidates vying for leadership of the PLP. I don't even hate or dislike David Byrne as an individual. I dislike the politician in these folks. That's what I dislike, not the individuals. But this quote I love, and someone told me it's their favorite in the book. I knew I no longer held grudges when I became thankful for the experiences and lessons. And I said that recently as well. All right. I shared that recently on this show that quote came from me working at Bermuda Tourism Authority, and then years later realizing it was best that I was gone. But hold on to that one, folks. Don't forget, tomorrow we've got President Richard Scott from Somerset coming on. In the meantime, don't forget to subscribe on our website, follow us on all of our social media channels to stay up to date with all that we have going on. Help us grow beyond the mic as we do our part to continue to improve our community. Thanks again to our partners, the BAC Group of Companies, HSBC Bermuda, Medical Lindos, People's Pharmacy, and big love to Hot 107.5 for ensuring that we can pump through the radio airways with these most important community conversations. As always, we appreciate you, we love you, and we thank you for making us part of your daily routine. If all goes well, we'll be back to do this again with you tomorrow. I'm Jamel Hartman. Please do make it a safe and a great day. We are out.